Good morning, manifestors. It's Paula from the 411 on manifesting. Welcome back to my channel. How was your weekend, everybody? It was really hot on Saturday. Not so hot yesterday, but it was still a really nice weekend. Hope you got outside or did something fun. I have to tell you about my weekend. I was fortunate enough to be invited back to an amazing psychic fair, the annual Shine Psychic Fair and Market. It was in Vermilion, Alberta yesterday. Oh my goodness, it was so much fun. I had such a good time. It was really busy. There was a lot of people there. We didn't have a lot of time to, downtime to really do anything. Everybody was super busy. It was so much fun. I love psychic fairs. The energy in them is always absolutely amazing. I talked to quite a few people yesterday who came in to the market. Maybe a couple of them, I think it was actually their first time attending a psychic fair, which is always super exciting. But they actually came in with not really any expectations and not kind of knowing what to expect. And those are the people that really take away from these kind of markets because they don't know what it is they need until they attend and walk around and see the different things that people are selling and that people are offering, the readers and the healers. And honestly, there was two ladies that really stuck out to me a lot that received healing, that received connections and conversations with different people. It's not a market, kind of like a farmer's market where you sort of walk in and do your round and then buy a few things and walk out. This is a market that you're there for the day. Like honestly, you're there for the day, especially if you've booked a session with, a healer or a reader, because they book up pretty quick sometimes. So you might wait and wander around. And what do you do during that time? You meet people and you talk to, people selling stuff at tables. And I had two amazing conversations with two women yesterday. I mean, I met lots of people, but they really stuck out to me. And one of the things that we were talking about, which I just found super interesting, is that women in the past few years, I mean, not just the past few years, but probably for a long time, have a real problem receiving anything, whether it's receiving compliments or gifts or money or help, right? So I think as women especially, that when somebody offers to help us with something, that maybe to us it can signify that we're not doing a good job, that's what they're seeing from the outside of us, is that, well, why do they think I need help? Obviously I'm showing something that is portraying that I'm not doing a good job. That's a real common thought for a lot of women, especially with money. Money is another big one. Money was a big one with men. When men were offered money, they would turn it down right away because it meant that they weren't good providers. Women internalize it because women, although they might not be the primary breadwinner financially in the family, women are the ones that really hold everything together, especially when, there's kids involved. So they're typically the ones, and I'm not saying all the time, so if I have any men on there, sorry, but I am saying a lot of the time that, the mothers, right? So they're looking after the lunches and the meals and the laundry and the housework, plus working outside the home. And again, not saying their partners don't contribute, but especially if they're a single mom too, right? So they really take on a lot of the daily household chores and, the raising of the kids and activities and all that kind of thing. So when help is offered, a lot of the time we think that maybe somebody's seeing that we're not doing a good job. Like, why do they think I need help? And especially with, abundance too. Abundance is hard to accept sometimes, and for the same reason. Oh, people must think that I'm struggling, or I must look like I'm struggling, or I must be talking like I am, or, anything like that. So it's really important, especially with manifesting. If we can't receive anything, how are we supposed to get what we're asking for? And that is such a huge problem that a lot of us face when we are manifesting. There's two steps that I always like to talk about a lot of you know that I do teach about 369 manifesting and limiting beliefs. And that's a really big part of manifesting, is that first you have to be in a giving frequency, right? So giving isn't always about money. You can give your time, you can, give advice. Sometimes you can give things that you don't use in your house. Like, there's lots of ways that we can give to people. But we also have to learn to receive. If we can't learn to receive, how are we supposed to get what we ask for? Especially when we're manifesting, sometimes we all know that things don't come at us in a way that we expect it. So if we're not used to receiving and being open to receive, sometimes we will inadvertently push away those things that are coming at us. So I just found that really interesting yesterday. I talked to quite a few women, and we all kind of agreed about the same thing, because that we just can't get what we're manifesting if we're not able to receive things. So that I want to talk about. The other half I want to talk about. So as most of you know, I have released a journal series on Amazon for the 411 on manifesting channel, kind of after that. And this is the second journal. Sorry, it's backwards again. But this is the daily Microwins tracker journal. And as always, I have my picture on the back with, this is going to be kind of my tagline for the journals, is reflect, reset, rewire, because that is what we're doing. So the Microwins tracker journal, also very helpful in helping you to get into the habit of receiving, because I'm going to tell you a little story. So you know how people are in the Tim Hortons or Starbucks coffee line, and you see a lot of posts about paying it forward, or getting a coffee bought for you. Well, I've never actually had that happen to me before. Like, I've never had anyone buy me a coffee before. And funny story, but last year I had never paid for anybody in ahead of me in line before. So I decided to do that. And I got up, I ordered just my one coffee, and I got, or it was people behind me, I guess. That's how it works. Yeah. So I got up to the cashier window and I said, I'd like to pay for the order behind me. And without batting an eyelash, she's like, okay, well, that'll be 38 something. And I was like, oh, okay, I can't back out of it now. So my coffee was like $2. And then, I paid for the people behind me. And I kind of just, for a minute, had to think. I was like, maybe it was their turn to buy the office coffee on Friday. Maybe they didn't have the money for it. Maybe they had to give up something for that. Who knows? You don't really know anyone's story, right? So getting past that, I just sort of put that in my head, that this was a really good thing that I was doing. And I wasn't really doing it for myself to make myself feel better. I was doing it in the hopes that the person I was buying this huge giant coffee order for, that they actually needed that help that day. And that just really helped me, in my giving mode, right? So anyway, on Friday, I slept in, number one. I never ever sleep in, but I was in a golf tournament on Thursday. It was 33 degrees outside, and I was golfing from 9 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. And it was a very long day. So I was super, super tired. But anyway, I slept in. So I went to grab my coffee before I went to work. I was almost late for work, and there was a huge lineup at Tim Hortons, and I was just impatient, trying to kind of calm myself down a bit. So I order my, I order my coffee, and I get to the window, and the cashier said, the person in front of you paid for your coffee. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. That never has happened to me before. I was so excited. And honestly, in that moment, my whole energy shifted over somebody buying me a $2 coffee. Because I didn't have a choice but to receive it. It wasn't like someone said, here, I'd like to buy you a coffee, and I had the option to say no. I literally didn't have the option. It was just a gift that was put right in front of me. So I kind of stuck my hand out the window to wave at the person, but they had already driven away. But it was just such a really big feeling. So in my Microwins journal, I actually wrote that down as soon as I got to work, because I do bring it with me wherever I go, because you never know when you're going to get a small microwin. And I wrote it down for the day because it was just, it was small, but it happened, and it was an absolute microwin, because it wasn't like somebody was handing me money. It was honestly that somebody did this active service that just changed my whole attitude for the day. Isn't that amazing how something that small, and not that it was insignificant, it was just a very small thing that can have such a big impact on your day. So I really I really want you just to consider about how you receive things, because again, if you can't receive, you will not get, right? So it's a real important one. But this is my second journal. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. And in the journal, there's a little bit of a welcome page. There is a page on recognizing your goals, which is very important. There is a page on starting your day with gratitude. So like the previous journal, which is the end of day one, that's ending your day with gratitude. I like to do both. I do both journals because they're mine. I love them. There is also a page where you can write down some goals that you want to achieve to do with your microwins, and a daily microwin tracker. So honestly, you're going to start off with 3 things that you're grateful for. Sorry, the writing is small. I can't zoom in there. You're going to write down any financial microwins that you have for the day, any personal microwins. So a personal microwin could be, if you're watching what you eat, if you're trying to eat healthy. So if you ate healthy that day, you had a healthy meal, or, you opted for a healthy meal instead of, ordering takeout or something, or perhaps you exercise. Like, those are all huge microwins, whatever goal is that you're trying to go for. And then professional microwins. I love the professional one. This is something that I haven't seen in any type of microwin sort of journal. And a professional microwin is if you have a business, or you're wanting to start, kind of your own thing, that you can write down any microwins, any steps that you made towards getting that professional goal going. So whether, you spoke to a mentor that day, or you created stock, or, you did some research on, an idea that you have, those are all microwins towards your goals. So I really wanted to add that part in. I actually really, really like it. And at the bottom of every page, honestly, this is what took me the longest, because I really wanted to do this little message at the bottom of every page. I probably researched for 3 weeks, just different little positive sayings that I could write. So every single page in the journal has a different little inspirational quote on the bottom. Just kind of start your day right. So I really, really like that. And then at the end of every week, let's get to that there is an important thoughts page. I always like to put those down because we all go through changes in the week when we're, manifesting, and our thoughts change a lot, right? So I think it's really important to note them, because that is 100% growth. I love that. So I will leave the link for Amazon for this journal. These journals are $15, and they're good for about 2-3 months worth of microwin tracking. So I quite like them. Yay! Anyway, that is the vlog for today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear in the comments any microwin stuff that you're doing. I would like to hear if you've ever, if you're comfortable sharing any struggles that you have had in the past with receiving. I think it's a real common thing with women, not to put a gender on it, but I just really think that women struggle with receiving the most. And it's something that we need to work on so we can bring all of our dreams into fruition for us. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and please give this vlog a like. I would love to keep creating more content from you. Just need you to like and subscribe for that one. Thank you so much. Have an amazing Monday, everybody. And we will see you next week. Talk to you soon. If no one tells you they love you this week, I love you. Have a great day. Okay, bye.